Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, I put out a short and I got a little something, something. To me, it's a big something, something. And now I'm feeling the pressure. So I opened that can. Let's explore it a little bit. What does that mean? Let's start off with the really difficult one. Okay, the one that we don't get any real physical evidence of because we don't document it. We just have to see it play out in society in horrific ways. Okay, so religious trauma. John, right? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it act like? How does it feel in your body? Bring it to the inside, right? Shadow work. That's yin. That's yin energy, feminine. It's just an energy. It's not a gender. It's just an energy. We need to start understanding the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, because that is how the universe talks to us, through energy, frequency, and vibration. We either understand that or we suck at life. Okay. Try to quote a dead man quick. I'm not good at quoting dead men. I love dead men. They're fun to read about. They're amazing creatures. Plato's my favorite. I'm going to quote Nietzsche because why not? That's probably my second favorite human. I'm gonna botch it, but I'm gonna go at it anyway. Acts of love always take place beyond good and evil. Acts of love always take place beyond good and evil. So we're going to have to look at and reassess what he meant when he said God is dead and we killed him. I'm going to just hold space for that. I need you to sit with that for a minute. I need you to sit with that for a minute. Now I'm going to quote a person who's alive. When you're busy judging someone, you cannot love them. So when you're calling people cretins and delinquents and whatever else, you're coming from a place of ignorance. You're coming from a place of not understanding how they got to be that way and how society as a whole played a role in that. Why can't we look at that? Why can't we come to an understanding that instead of classifying everything as good, bad, ugly, indifferent, evil, yada, 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 we just classify them as, maybe loved or not loved. There's an African proverb. It says, a child that is rejected by the tribe or the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Let me repeat that. A child who is rejected by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I think we can all agree that maybe calling people bad names is probably not the best move for humanity. I think that we can all agree that coming from a space of trauma and bringing it out into the world isn't going to heal your trauma. It's not going to heal anything. It's going to make you feel better for 5 seconds, and then you're going to go back to feeling miserable, all while perpetuating this horrible thing onto the planet. Or not. I mean, some of us have just come to an understanding that the people that respond in that way are coming from a place of extreme pain and extreme and utter trauma and abuse. So, in other words, when people are screaming at you for this, that, and the other thing on the internet, they're coming from a place of extreme pain and extreme ignorance on how to deal with the pain. So rather than get butthurt about it, just be like, okay, I see you, I hear you. I hope you get better. I hope you come to a place of understanding where your trauma is and how better to deal with it. And what does that mean? What does that mean to them? If they can't even talk about their trauma, how are they going to heal it? So this is why I made the taboo trauma thing. Medical trauma, religious trauma. There's so many more. I can't even, but we're going to deal with those two because they're fucking mountains anyway. So when we're constantly causing trauma, and I'll try to break that down, because we don't get it, unfortunately. I mean, it took me almost 2 decades to try to understand it, and I'm still trying to unravel it. I'm still trying to bring it out into the light. So let's define real quick what's light and what's dark. Dark, not seen, unknown. Light, seen and known. That's it, that's all. Dark is not evil, light is not good. Ooh, child. What do we know about right now? You heard of Harvey Weinstein? What about Bill Cosby? What about that Epstein dude? Anybody know about that? That's in the light, right? Epstein and all the stuff that trickled down from that, that's in the light. That's in the light because we know about that. That's light. Sorry, my dog is sorry. He's an old dog. Leave him alone. Okay, so it's in the light. That trauma, that horror is in the light. We know about that. Okay, so whatever's left in the dark is just the unknown, the subconscious, what we do not know. So along with getting to the bottom of why we respond the way we do, why we react the way we do, why sudden impulses come up, is simply in the dark. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. What's in the light is what we know about. Okay, so many of us are sifting through those dark to find the hidden treasures there, because that's what's there. If you get all that trauma out of the way and integrate the shadow, there comes your gifts, right? They bubble up to the surface naturally. You remember who you were as a child before you were traumatized, and you remember the gifts that you had. You remember the things that brought you actual joy. You remember the things that filled your heart with love. Okay? And some of us need to go back further than childhood. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're totally screwed because you don't remember a happy time. That doesn't mean that. It doesn't. It just means that your gifts are probably really needed right now. So start digging. Okay? So the more traumatized, probably the bigger the gift and the more impact you're going to have. So I think I speak for the whole of humanity when I say, please do the work, please. So let's start something. I'm gonna just throw this out here. Somebody throws some shade or some hate on the internet. Rather than throwing hate and shade back, be like, I hope you. Hope. What a shitty word. Okay, Sarah, you can do better. I wish you all the love on your path to figuring out where your gifts are. Send that out. Put that out into the universe rather than, gee, why don't you go read a... Okay. Gonna hold back on that one. So, wishing them actual love. Wishing them actual love. Send it out. Feel it in your heart space. Feel that warmth well up inside of you and put it out. Put it out. Heart Math Institute. Go look it up. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. Feel it well up inside you and like a laser. Do it. Try it. Put it into something. I don't care what it is. Your animal or your maybe it's a favorite book you have. Maybe it's a favorite sweater. Whatever it is. Feel the warmth from that and understand how it feels and how it registers in your body. That's yin. That's feminine energy. How things happen on the inside is feminine. You can see where the suppression of feminine is not doing us any good right now, because rarely do people understand how this works. I'm still learning, for God's sakes. So feel that sensation in your body and learn how to alchemize it. Learn how to deal with it. When you get hot, when your bumhole gets lit the F up, do something about it. Okay. Alchemize it and turn it into something that's greater than yourself. You don't need to set anything on fire. Well, okay. You can write things down. The art of ancient giveaways. Write things down on a piece of paper that are traumatizing you or bothering you or whatever you want to. If you need to sugarcoat it, then sugarcoat it. I am not here judging, telling you that you have to do this, that. Okay. You do what you intuitively feel is right for you. Write it down. Do not reread it. Do not reread it. It doesn't matter how the handwriting looks. It doesn't matter if you got it right. It doesn't matter, blah, 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 because all you're going to do is burn it. Okay. Now, people call that woo-woo. But if you watch your trauma, your pain, your agony go up in flames, that changes this, which in turn changes your DNA. It's that powerful. How do I know this? The placebo effect. I know, like the biggest taboo in the medical field ever. We don't pay attention to that. That is a no-go. Okay. Go talk to Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and just go have a little chit chat with old folk. So when we can visualize those things and bring them to light for ourselves in our own physical realm, it empowers us. John. You can imagine why this might be upsetting to some people who want to control and manipulate everything. So when you get someone poo-pooing whatever it is, remember that it's now threatening them. They're terrified of it, and they should be. Personal empowerment, really cool thing. And for those who don't have it, who don't feel comfortable in their own person, yep, it's going to trigger them. It's going to set them off into some sort of oblivion that we don't need to have access to, right? We can witness them have access to it, but we don't need to step into that. We don't need to go back into that, I should say. So religion and science both have their trauma triggers, right? Because why? Why do they trigger by that? Why does that hurt them so much? Because they have spent so much, you guys, so much time and energy, resources, in probably 3 houses now worth of debt to student loans, and time lost with the people they love, time lost doing things they love, to dedicate themselves wholly to this particular way of life that they've been excruciatingly, in some cases, doctors, I'm talking to you, excruciatingly indoctrinated into. And it's terrifying. It's absolutely, you listen to like even if you watch oh god dang it, Grey's Anatomy, holy trauma balls. That's a lot of trauma. That's a lot of trauma just to help people. So when we're dealing with those people who are presenting us with whatever trauma it is, whether it be religious or medical, we need to understand these are people who have invested so much, you guys, of their life force energy into doing this thing and being this way and taking this shape here in this reality. This is their avatar. And this is what they have worked so hard on becoming, because they were told it was going to bring them something amazing and wonderful and what they wanted, or maybe what somebody else wanted for them, whatever it is, right? They have been completely engulfed in that energy for so long that if you dare question it, they're going to lose it. They are going to lose it. Guaranteed it. They're going to lose it. Because you are now asking them to reflect upon their choices. And that's a lot of reflection to do in one freaking sitting. Do you understand? So we need to hold space for them as well. We need to have an understanding that just because we might have gone through a journey, or we might hold a certain perspective, or we might have this, that asking someone to immediately understand where we are coming from is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. You don't tell a 30-year-old indoctrinated human that what they've been doing their entire lives is shattered at their feet. You don't get away unscathed with that. You just don't. And then you have to honor the other side of the spectrum. Those indoctrination things have shattered so many people. Shattered. Entire cultures, entire families completely nuked because of the infliction of trauma by those who were indoctrinated. So this is a mere reflection of itself. This is a society mirroring itself. When you get to one extreme and it's based on trauma. It's based on trauma. I know this is a really difficult pill to swallow. It's difficult because I put my life source energy into it. I did it. I even tried to get into the medical field. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I tried. And I thought for a really long time that there was something really wrong with me. I'm like, why can't you just fucking conform? And I just, okay, hot minute under the duvet. And it becomes, it's its own mirror reflection. Trauma is going to cause more trauma, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is everybody's intent. I'm just saying these systems were set up by people who either didn't understand or didn't care about the trauma. Does that make sense? I hope this is helping. So when we're coming to a space anywhere in our lives, whether it be at the Thanksgiving table or on the internet, when we're coming to a space and we are confronted with any form of disrespect or hatred or misunderstanding, it's just because they hold a different perspective and they have been told that that perspective is okay to hold. And that is not your responsibility to take on for yourself. So when someone is busy judging you, they can't be busy loving you. And that's a really tough pill to swallow. But you can invite them into love. You can invite them in to love. A space that is beyond good and evil. A space that is beyond what we know here on this planet. It's accessible. Heaven is always available. I'm using heaven because people understand what it means. Love is always available. It's right here. It's right here at your feet. Look at your feet. Just take a second. Look at your feet. Heaven's right there. It's right there. All you have to do is step into it. That's it. One step. Boom, heaven. There it is. It's a different state of mind. Yep. It's going to take a hot minute to feel comfortable there. Oh, yeah. It's going to take a hot minute to feel comfortable there. It's going to take a hot minute to feel worthy of being there because when you're told this, that, and the other thing that you need to judge this and hate this and yada, 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 not only about the outside world, but about yourself, because, again, we don't all come from the same exact source, but this is a very intertwined web. Okay? Stepping into a space of love really is easy. It's just, if you have strings that you've tied and bound yourself to things, ideas, concepts, structures, institutions, if you have things that you've bound yourself to, that's what's going to hold you back from stepping into a place of love. So it's a matter of unbinding yourself from those strings. There's plenty of examples on the planet. Put your focus on that. Find them. Find people who have stepped out of those bindings and into a place of authenticity, a place of acceptance, a place of love, and a place of sovereignty, while contributing to the whole in a meaningful and purposeful manner. There's plenty of examples out there. And I don't particularly want to direct you where to go, because your journey is your own. You can only come to this in an authentic way if you listen to where your desire is. What is it that lights you up? What is it that fuels your fire? Moving beyond these constructs and understanding that because we've been invited into a particular place so many times in our life doesn't mean we have to keep choosing to step into that place. We can choose a different space to step into. It may take a little bit, it may take seconds. That's up to you. That's totally up to you. I can't dictate that for you. I can't give you a timeline. That's not fair. Everybody needs to do this on their own terms. This is a journey, by the way. You're supposed to fall in love with the journey. That might help if you fall in love with the journey. And rediscovering who you are, your purpose here, what you're meant for. And it might be the weirdest thing that you never thought you'd do. It might be the strangest sounding thing that you would have thought unimaginable. You wouldn't even have fathomed it 10 years ago that you're now working towards. Let that great unknown work its magic. Let the great unknown take you. Because while it might bring up some severe discomfort, it will also lead you to the most beautiful place of existence. And you can hold both at the same time. You can hold your trauma and you can hold your bliss at the same time. Yep. You can. It's possible. You just have to reach for it. You just have to keep reaching for it. Okay? While you're unbinding yourself from the trauma. Okay? Because no human should have to stay there. No one is meant for that. We're not creatures that are supposed to be bludgeoned to no end. That's basically where we're headed right now. No end. So, when we're talking about personal responsibility versus the collective, right? How do we radiate our personal responsibility out to others? Past that 6-foot barrier here. How are we showing up in the world? Are we coming from a place of love? Are we coming from a place of holding space and understanding and compassion? I don't know about you. Personally, I'm Batman when I go out, shields up. You know, that's how Batman sounds. Okay, so you get to pick how you show up. And I hold no shame in that. If I need to be Batman when I go out, then I'm going to be Batman, Batwoman, whatever. I have a Batwoman t-shirt. If I need to put my shield up, that's my right to do so. And it's your right to do so as well. But like, if you're bringing like, I hate everybody out into the universe, I used to do this, you're going to see that. That's going to be reflected back to you. But I've been experimenting. You're allowed to do that, by the way. You can be your own scientist. You can be your own guru. You're supposed to be your own guru and your own scientist. You're supposed to. I've been like looking people in the eye and I've been smiling. Sometimes people smile back and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's a good feeling. So it's getting there. I'm getting there. I'm still in the process. It's really cool. It's a good feeling. And you don't need to go there if you're not ready. You need to assess where you are as a human being and move forward from there. And hold no shame. Stop being the person that's standing behind you, ringing that bell, wearing that gray robe. Shame, shame, shame. Because all you're going to do is invite more of that in. And that becomes a cycle in and of itself. And it's going to perpetuate itself. So if you could just put your foot right in front of that cycle and trip it up a little bit and be like, I'm going to choose something else today. I'm going to make a different choice today. I'm just going to step outside the box just a little bit and put something different on that wheel that goes out into the universe and gets reflected back to me. I'm going to put something different there. Try the little things. What about what you eat? I'm not telling you need to go vegan or you need to be a meat eater. That's up to you to decide. No one should be dictating what you put in your face hole. Any of them. In this one, or this one. Okay? Nobody should be dictating that for you. You have to decide what's right for you. Period. The end. It's not personal sovereignty, kids. I don't think we've learned our lesson yet. How many people need to suffer because a group of people decide what's best for everybody? And then when people speak up and say, but I don't want that, they end up in a horrible, horrible place and sometimes bludgeoned to death. Death happens on many levels. So we need to honor that as well. You can die in a spiritual way. You can die in an emotional way. You can die in a mental way. You can die in a financial way. You can die in a career way. You can die in multiple different ways. And we need to honor those deaths in a much more respectful way. So when we're going through this, whatever you want to call this experience, remembering to honor yourself and your own authenticity, because that's the only thing that the world really needs right now, is your sovereignty and your authenticity. That's it. That's all. Once you step into your sovereignty and your authenticity, you ready? You ready? You can join humanity in a really productive manner. On so many different levels, on every single level of your life. When you step into your authenticity and your sovereignty, you get to join humanity. It's really cool. It's a good feeling. I highly suggest you work towards that. Whatever that looks like for you. You need to tattoo your eyeballs black? Do it. And don't let anybody hate you for it. Right? You want to, get a different haircut? Do it. You want to grow your hair out? Do it. You want to get dreads? Do it. You want to become a conservative? Do it. Who has any right to tell you? As long as you're not hurting anyone, be your authentic self and show up in a place of love rather than misunderstanding and ignorance and hatred and trauma. This is why it's just so important to understand where your trauma is actually coming from. And I'll do more videos on religious trauma and break it down a little bit more. But for right now, sit with it and hold some space and give yourself some love, because you don't deserve to be under that, whatever it is you want to call it. You're supposed to be free and sovereign, authentic, and feel how you feel, whatever that looks like. I hope this helps. Have a beautiful rest of your day.